Far Cry 6 is another one that I've been waiting for. Like when it came out, I remember watching the teaser trailer a while back, and the second I
Okay.
saw Giancarlo Esposito, man,
Man. Oh.
when I saw Gus Fring,
True.
bro, like I was just like,
Oh.
I'm sold. I'm sold. And the render on that character, I think, is one of the best that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like one of the best that I've seen on the trailer. So I'm so
Yeah, that
stoked for this game. Yeah, you were saying?
so far the cinematics looks amazing.
Yeah, but for some reason, I
For the
feel
game.
like this time round he looks different from the renders that were
Yeah.
done a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that
No,
Yeah,
smirk he had, in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
reveal.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Looked a little
Looks
different.
different.
Yeah.
that was completely done in like a render engine. I think this is more like a gameplay
Mm.
Right,
thing.
right. Straight
This
from
is
the
how
game
we'll
footage.
be able to see it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right.
But like they're abandoning like a first person perspective at least for the cutscenes.
Mm. Yeah.
Exactly,
Where you're like
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I was
have
going
like
to
an
talk
entire
about.
cinematic
Yeah,
costume.
which is
Yeah.
which is so cool. Like the first thing that I noted down was the location. So for the location Far Cry 6, this is the first time Far Cry is going for a full country um like
Yeah.
location setting. And this is the biggest map yet. I don't know if it's a
Mm-hmm.
thing that most games are going for where they're just trying to up the
It
map
is.
size,
Yeah.
but
It
if
is.
it
It is.
yeah, if it is, I just hope that I mean from whatever I saw and the impressions of other creators out there that I've seen is that even though it's a full country scale kind of a thing, um, it still feels pretty dense. Like whatever they've shown us, the space still seems pretty populated with things to do and people and all that kind of stuff. Like that's one thing I think Just Cause 4 had a problem with. It was such a huge map, but I think it
But
felt
nothing to
empty.
do.
Empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt empty. But
Yeah, that was a discussion I intended to have with this. So even Forbidden West has like a bigger map, and Dying Light is promising a map four times its
yeah,
original one size.
yeah,
So like,
yeah,
I mean, these are like big RPG games, and there's like so much stuff to do, but like, there's always this thing that it will after a point become redundant or empty. Like,
Mm.
yeah. It's either
even
it's
with
either
Assassin's
it's
Creed.
either that or it becomes repetitive. Like they'll just populate the whole thing with the same kinds of
Yeah.
Yeah,
side
that was like my
quests.
major gripe with like Assassin's Creed,
Yeah,
content. It used to be
yeah,
like
yeah.
one mission copy pasted like 30
Right,
times
Yeah.
across the
right.
map.
But actually, for Assassin's Creed Origin, there was the same thing. Like, with the map when it came out, it was one of the biggest maps. Assassin's Creed Origin was
Yeah.
Yeah,
huge, and it kind
yeah.
of was empty, right? But for me personally, I liked it because it is a desert. It is empty. A desert is empty.
Right.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there were areas of the map, like how they like cut out map areas of the map saying this place is that place. There were like
Yeah.
two areas of the map, completely big areas, are empty. It's just sand. You can
Right.
explore some stuff, maybe some old broken down, temples or whatever, but it was empty and it was immersive and it was
Right.
beautiful. Like I've spent so much time there in the nothingness.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
am I
Yeah,
a
I think it
dumbass?
lends a lot to like the explorativeness. Even with so there's this mobile game called Genshin Impact. It's not a mobile game; it's a cross-platform.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even in that game, I think it suffers from emptiness, but that only lends to it being more explorative. Like
Right. Right.
it always has like cool stuff to look at. The
Yeah.
art is
Yeah.
really cool in that game.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so the location is this place called Yara, and Yara is the country. And the interesting thing is, in fact, I think a lot to draw from Just Cause as well, because the location is very tropical, and I think Yara as a country setting is inspired by Cuba,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
the city, which is Esperanza, and that's where like I guess the main bulk of the action happens, which is where the main man Gus Fring is also at, which is Esperanza. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
capital city, and the capital city is inspired by Havana. So you've got Cuba inspiring the country setting, and Havana, capital city, inspiring Esperanza. And I think the city setting in Far Cry 6 is very different from whatever like the other stuff that we've seen in the series, right? Like it's been like whether it's Far Cry 5 or 3, even 4, all of these we're looking at small towns or like islands or stuff like that where there's not much verticality. It's more you're going out, you're going out to explore, and there's a lot of space that you need to go and explore. But with the thing about Esperanza, the city setting makes it a lot different because you've got taller buildings and more congested areas. So the whole movement feeling and the way you kind of navigate the map is going to feel a lot different, which is one thing that I realized. So, but then around the city, there's a lot of sprawl space. Like there's a lot of space which will make you feel familiar to the other games in the series and stuff. So
Yeah.
now talking about a little bit of the story. So the island of Yara apparently used to be a paradise. It was beautiful. I think again, it's very similar to the storyline of Cuba. I'm not very familiar with it, but my faint memories, like I've seen this Conan episode where he goes and visits Cuba, and my faint memory of it is also that political situations basically froze it in time, and it cut the country out from like other technologies and being in sync with whatever's happening, So it's the same situation. It's the same. So like if you go to Cuba, you'll see old cars and the technology used there is also pretty primitive. So it's almost like you're traveling back in time. And it's quite similar with Yara. Yeah, it's quite similar with Yara as well. Like it's because of political situations and other external political powers kind of cutting it off. It's kind of stuck in time and cut off from the rest of the world. And so because of this, the people then elect the antagonist, which is Anton Castillo, behind the promise of rebuilding Yara. And so he plays like I think a dictatorship role, and he does a bunch of crazy shit like a dictator would. And I think his whole army is like 300,000 like soldiers. He's got like 300,000 troops, and that's the big, force that he has. And so naturally, because of this whole setting, rebellions arise, and you have rebellion pockets and cells that are coming up in different parts of Yara. And so you, as the protagonist, are a part of the rebellion, and you're basically trying to take Anton down. So that's kind of like the context for the whole game. Now you, as the protagonist, you're this person called Danny Rojas, and the thing about this game, I think for the first time in the game, in the series, you can select between a male or a female character.
You could do that in Far Cry 5, I guess.
Oh, you could?
Was it there for 5?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you couldn't.
It was
You
there.
could never see.
Yeah,
them
you would
again.
never see
You
the
just
character, so
wouldn't
it
see them.
barely made any difference.
Yeah,
but
any difference?
But yeah, so you're basically Danny Rojas. You can play as a male or a female. You're a Yara native, born and bred. A little different from, I think, most of the games where you're not the native in that place. You're visiting,
Yeah,
like some
you-
crazy shit happens, right? So this is a little different in that way. So she's a military dropout, and her family used to be part of the regime. And so now she's different, where she's now working with a local revolutionary leader. And so the big thing that, Vibhav brought up, like now you can finally see her in the scenes, and she's a lot more fully voiced. So like it's more like watching the game rather than you standing there and the other person like doing most of the
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing about protagonists. Now weapons, bro. Weapons is something else in this game. So
Yeah.
from what I saw, from what I gathered, there's like 3 tiers, right? Like one section is weapons from back in the day. So that's when the old wars were happening. I think about it a century ago, like the big revolution that happened. So they have all these old weapons that they use. So that's one tier. Then you have these regular everyday weapons, baseball bats, throwing knives, stuff like that. And third is the batshit crazy stuff. Like that's like this thing called Resolver weapons, right? And these are like hand-built, improvised weapons. There's this minigun that's made out of motorcycle parts.
motorbike.
Okay. Yeah, motorcycle parts. And then there's another one.
There's like
What was
CD
that?
launcher.
The vinyl. Yeah, the vinyl record
That's my
launcher.
favorite.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That looks crazy, and it's just playing Macarena. It's just playing Macarena in the background, and then you just shoot the CDs out.
Shooting
It's crazy.
CDs.
Yeah,
And you reload
and I think
CDs.
yeah, and I think no, there was also another one where a bunch of fireworks, and you use that as a launcher, and the chopper's flying by, and you shoot fireworks, and there's like 10 fireworks just launch out of it, and like
Yeah.
blast out the chopper. But I think that's the crazy side of how it's kind of authentic. I like that because it reflects the crazy side of how the rebellion has to adapt because they're cut off. First off, they're cut off from the rest of the world, and so they're limited with resources and stuff, right? So now they have to improvise with those limited resources and make whatever they've got, going, and they have to hide. They have to be in hiding the whole time. So. Oh yeah, the last thing was the Supremos. So the Supremos is another tier, and the one that I saw, I think the one that they featured was a backpack mortar thing. Like
Yeah,
that's some
There's
just
like
cause. That's some straight up just cause stuff. So she just crouches down and then like shoots out a bunch of missiles out of her back. That was dope.
There's
And
also
that
a
blows up like this
jetpack
big.
bag kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So. So yeah, I guess the last thing was.
Oh, she had a jetpack or
shit.
something, right?
Oh yeah, there's also a jetpack thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. The movement was a little weird.
Yeah, I can't
It was
tell if
like
it was a
she just
jetpack or...
got off the.
She just
floor
hovers for a few
Yeah, and then
seconds.
she lands.
Very weird.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's like a full-on jetpack. But yeah,
And
I think the
flamethrowers.
second last thing. Oh
Flamethrowers
yeah.
are back.
Yeah, flamethrowers is a staple, right?
Yeah.
So
Back to
yeah,
that one scene in Far Cry 3 that everyone likes.
yeah, you're just smoking out the. Was it weed?
The weed.
Was it the weed
I
farms?
think weed farm.
Yeah, weed farms.
Oh man, that was the one.
So animal pets are also a thing in this game. There's this alligator or crocodile or whatever, like with this weird tooth,
Yeah.
which I think
Yeah.
in the trailer or in the gameplay review, it showed it jumping on an enemy and taking it down. So that's definitely one. And then there's a small little cute dog. Like I think
Yeah.
it's like an amputated dog, and it has like wheels instead of the back two legs.
No, the
So-
legs are there. I don't think it's amputated. Maybe it's paralyzed, I guess. But the legs were there. Even I thought it was amputated. I looked into it. I could see the legs. It was like,
Oh,
like
okay.
a pouch or something. I don't know.
Okay, maybe it's
We'll see.
paralyzed. I don't
Yeah,
know. But it's really
he
cute
has like
dog,
a
man.
cart that he's carrying around.
Yeah.
Instead
A
of
cart,
his
yeah.
legs.
But yeah, that was a really cute dog. Like it was a interesting
Yeah,
touch.
it was
It's an
a
interesting touch to the whole thing. So yeah, animal pets are a
All
thing.
violence and chaos, and then a cute
Yeah,
little
yeah,
puppy.
and there's a cute little dog. Yeah,
By the way, have you guys ever played like Far Cry 2?
2, no.
I haven't
I
played
started
two,
off with
man. My first was three.
3. Same.
Three was my first.
Yeah, so like recently I was just like delving back into the old games and I happened to come across Far Cry 2 and so with that I found like an interesting touch. It basically like from Far Cry 3 it sort of gives you like the things that you would need to like fight without having to lose a lot of your health. In Far Cry 2 you get like nothing. If you want to save a game, you have to go to like a certain place. If you want to check your maps, you have to like open it while the game is running in the back.
Yeah.
Somebody could shoot you. Your
And I
cars
think
break down.
a
It's amazing.
similar issue with regard to ease of gameplay was also like, I think Far Cry 5 had this, or even the games before, maybe 4 as well, where you had access
Yeah.
to air vehicles, right? And I was coming to that as my last point, which is transportation. So with regard to transportation, like horses are a thing. So that's dope. We haven't seen that before, right? In any of the series.
Was horses there in
Yeah.
the previous games? No, right?
No. So horses is a new thing, if I'm not wrong. Old
I
cars.
think there were animals in Far Cry 4 though. You could ride.
Oh
certain
yeah,
animals.
no, not 4. Oh, 4?
You could. I don't remember.
Oh, I think elephants. But Primal had animals that you
Primal.
could ride, I think. Yeah, Primal had animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is horses in this setting. All the cars are pretty much old, but which I think is kind of the case with the other games as well because you're using like jacked up cars anyway.
Yeah.
You can also hijack a tank. So now with regard to the aircrafts and like the air mode of transportation is in the other games apparently it was pretty easy to get around. Like you could just glide between the missions like easy. Like you can move from one to the other and just finish the missions really quick. But I think with this game they've added a bunch of anti-aircraft machines in the bottom
Ooh.
on the ground. So that doesn't make it easy for you to travel air really easily. So yeah, maybe that makes it more interesting. But I don't know if you can like go around and just blow shit up first. If you can take down these anti-aircraft machines first, I don't know if that makes it easier. So that was the last
No,
thing
I
about
think they're
transportation.
trying to like go for a sort of immersive gameplay rather than freedom.
Right.
That like Far Cry 5 was. I mean, at one point she like busts up her phone and starts checking a map for like all of those guerrilla hideouts.
Hmm.
And that was like such a callback to Far Cry 2, and like you have to
Right.
remove a map to see your
Right. 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 Right.
location.
Right. Right.